Minute and 47 seconds. Let's go. All right. I wanted to make sure that y'all got that out of the way, listening to that nice music that we have in our countdown. How's everybody doing this evening? I'm a little early, about 5 minutes, but hey, that's what we do. Impromptu, coming on a little early, but y'all know what it is. It's Tuesday, our fireside chat. So before we get into it and dive into the nitty gritty again, want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, taking the time out to be here with us this evening. So, and also, again, EHS professionals, EHS directors, those that, we know what time it is this time of year, getting ready, coming into the new year. Tier 2 season is upon us. So it's definitely time to start getting out of all those spreadsheets, all that stuff that you got to compile, all the information, and just stop and go compile it into one platform. Again, this is powered by NCamp. NCamp is here to make your life easier, especially around Tier 2 season. All 50 states, they're tagged in, able to get you compliant in what you're doing in regards to your Tier 2, as well as all your other EHS audit forms, everything one-stop shop. So again, thank you again. This live stream is powered by NCamp.
Tired of scrambling over Tier 2 EPCRA reports? NCamp's got you covered. Their easy-to-use platform supports Tier 2 portals in all 50 states, so you can submit your reports from every facility, all from one modern system. Stop dreading Tier 2 season and take back your Q1. Learn how NCamp is changing the way EHS professionals stay in compliance. See more at ncamp.com/X Factor.
There you go. There you go. Again, a little word from our sponsors over at NCamp. So again, if you are, tired of dealing with all those paper reports, all those spreadsheets, all this data that you have to put together and look for, and USB drives might have gotten lost, computers or been damaged, you don't know where they're at. Again, head over to ncamp.com/X Factor, sign up. They'll make your life a lot easier. So we are streaming across all the platforms here, LinkedIn Live, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope for those streaming on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. I seen a post earlier this morning that says, asking if people still use Twitch. And, Twitch is for gamers. But, again, it's starting to, we have to adapt. We have to pivot. We have to do certain things. So I'm on Twitch. I like it. It's definitely interesting to be on that platform. Yes, I know it's for gamers. But it was brought about for gamers. But now anybody can get on there and, again, check us out. Again, we're also, for those that don't know, we're also on the radio. safetyfm.live, safetyfm.com, and the Safety FM app. So go check us out there. So those that are tuning in on the radio, driving with us, we're going to be talking about a little development of how safety plans, processes, an effective safety program is compiled. And again, people that are in the chat, by all means, chime in. I definitely like it. Nathan Minute living the dream, bro. Thank you, Mr. Nathan. I greatly appreciate seeing you here. Stephen Bell, how does a diehard safety guy on a podcast? Sorry, get on. Got you. Okay. How does a diehard safety guy get on your podcast? Many ways. Many ways. I know now, Steve Bell. All it is shoot me a DM. Let's connect and see where we can take it. I'd love to have you on the show. We like having guests on the show. So one of the questions that was asked was, how do we develop a effective safety program? How do we develop a safety program? And I reached out to a couple of people because I want to get different people's points of view. Because again, not all safety programs are going to be the same. It's not a cookie cutter type plan that I can generate for the construction field and it's going to work in a general industry setting, or a car manufacturer versus a food processing facility. So that's where we have to really dive into what it is that we're looking for. And I reached out to one of my good friends, Sheldon Primus. Shout out Sheldon, a safety consultant. I said, hey, what's your top 5 tips on building an effective safety program? And he ended up shooting me a video that he posted. And it was very interesting because I would have never thought to do this. But on this YouTube video that I was watching, and again, it's plug in Sheldon Primus. Again, he has it out there on YouTube. I suggest any safety professional that's looking to start implementing a safety program and wants to enhance what they're doing, go check it out. Go check out Sheldon's YouTube videos. But I was watching it. He sent it over, for a resource, and I was looking at it, and it said to use the NAISC website, and then obviously the OSHA website of what we need to do. What's the most frequently cited, so that way we can first of all get rid of all the low-hanging fruit, all the stuff that OSHA is going to come into your place and cite you for. You want to get rid of, again, finding out, and not only in your facility but all in general. What are you doing? What's happening out there in the world? What can we do to make it better? And then use the NAISC website. And that stands for, give me 1 second, because I'm going to look it up. The National American Industry Classification System. There we go. I had it at the tip of my tongue. I had to look it up again. But no, this classification system, it's a series of numbers that's targeted for any business that's out there, whether you're a clothing store, whether you're in agriculture, whether you're in steel fabrication, you're in waste management, anything that's out there has this number. And then those that don't have an NAISC number, they have a SAIC number. But these numbers, you can actually narrow it down to stuff in your field. And you figure out what OSHA's citing you for, what's the most frequently cited activities that are going around. Right now, everybody's getting cited for COVID infractions, COVID policies. But it definitely helps to understand other industries on what they're facing. How can we develop a plan for everybody, but still keep it tailored to my specific needs? So then once we figure out what's being cited, we can then figure out the hazards. Do those hazards affect me? Are those hazards here in my facility right here, right now? Are they on my construction site? And those that are in construction know that the overall site safety plan changes every time you get to a new site. It And for good reason. A lot of times you're not always erecting steel. Sometimes you might be installing a new manufacturing line, a new car line, a new food processing line. And that's still considered construction because you are constructing something. You are in that 1926 manual. That's where you're pulling the standards from. But I take a step back and all this forward information. What really drives a good safety plan? Who knows? Who knows that what drives a good safety plan? You know, I think personally, this is my opinion. Before you even start getting a plan together, you have to have somebody that's willing to believe in that plan. You have to have somebody that ends up helping you succeed with said plan. You know, you can't just, I'm going to start a business and, hopefully I hire some safety pro and they'll be able to get me what I need. And you actually, and I'm talking to my CEOs, owners of businesses, you have to be involved in making your safety plan. That's first and foremost. After that, then we get to dive into, the nitty gritty. What is the company's mission statement? What are they, what are we about? Because in order for this safety plan to work, you have to have that mindset that our commitment to safety to our fellow employees is gold. It is the golden rule. That is what we live by. That is what we stand by. So with that being said, you got to start from the top. Let's see. Shane, good to see you, Shane. I just discussed lagging and leading indicators. Good deal. Monica Alvarez, good evening, all. Good to see you in the chat. Focus on top hazards that come from the people. Definitely. And again, you're going to ask your workforce, you're going to ask your people, what hazards are you seeing out there on the floor? Because if you're not out there 24/7 grinding with your men and women that are out doing the work, you don't know what hazards are out there, right? We can see some hazards that are out there. We know, the main ones that are out there. But again, what are they actually seeing in their day to day? And then how can we make it better? How do we make it more efficient and more effective? So that way they don't just say, oh, here's the safety handbook where our policies and procedures are at. I'm just going to leave that in the toolbox or the locker. I'm not going to worry about it. Safety's a joke. We don't want that. We want them to embrace and empower each other to be safe. So building that safety program starts at the top, engaging your people. So then what's next? What comes after that? You have to assess the situation. You have to assess the plant, the field, the site out in the field, the manufacturing process. Are you doing a new add-on? Is there new employees that are coming into play? What risks is that involved? What is going to be your number one high severity task? What goes into what you are doing? Is there going to be different leads that take on these facets of your safety plan? You got to think about that too, because if you're going to build that safety plan to, enhance what you already have. Again, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're streamlining it, right? We're trying to get all those, bumps and making sure that it's rolling as smoothly as possible. So with that being said, you have to make sure that we are assessing every area of this safety plan. Mallory, good to see you, Mallory. A safety leader must be a strong leader and speaker. A good speaker needs to be able to connect with their audience. How does a safety speaker connect with their audience? That's a good question. Through this here, video, audio, in person. Obviously, keeping your 6 foot distance or more, wearing our mask, and making sure everything is good. But what what makes a good safety speaker connect with their audience? Just the engagement. The engagement. And a lot of times you go, even if you're new into the workforce, if you try to go into a workforce building a safety plan, trying to get that engagement, and you don't sound confident, you don't sound like you know what you're talking about, right? And again, it could be your nerves. That's okay. I was like that once. It could be your nerves. You start to stumble, and I still start to stumble when I'm here talking to you guys. Still get the butterflies in my stomach and get a little nervous. But yeah, you have to be confident in what you're doing. You have to know what you actually want them to understand and to learn. Again, when we go into these settings and try to implement new change, try to implement new culture mindset, it has to be genuine. It cannot be scripted. I can't sit here and read from a piece of paper, okay, guys, our new safety plan is going to include. No, they're going to tune you out after the first 3 words. They're going to pick up their phones. They're going to start watching Facebook, TikTok, whatever they end up doing. So that's right. They have to feel safe. Good deal. Mike Albert and Mallory Smith, good one. Steve Bell, what new materials, new processes? Again, JHAs, JSAs, pre-test plan, SFEMAs, all these names and that's a whole nother fireside chat. Which form to use? But when you're generating this new safety plan, you have to take that into consideration. What's going to be their new process? Is it going to be that they fill out a JHA, a JSA, a pre-task plan, an SFEMA, a FEMA? Do they know how to fill it out? Are they going to, just pencil whip it? Is that what they've been doing? You're trying to enhance your safety program, one that's already established, and again, streamline it. Maybe we take some of those JHAs, JSAs, pre-test plans out of the equation. And again, asking what your workforce is doing. What can I do to make your job easier and make your job better? A little more streamlined, a little less hectic, a little less stressful. Because again, we got to think as safety professionals, we are the support system. We are the support system for the workforce. So anything we can do to support and make it just a little bit easier, then let's do that. Let's ask those questions. And again, people are new safety professionals sometimes ask, well, who's going to make my workload easier? When you have a good safety culture, your management, your C-suite, your executive team, they help you out. And then the workforce themselves. Once you get everything streamlined to where, it's good and still evaluating, and it's an ever-changing, evaluation of your safety program. You're always going to change something. Something new is always going to be added. But when you have a good culture that's, they're driving your safety program, then you feel a little less stressed, that everything's getting done. And then you can go around and see where those holes are at that we might need a little more improvement in one. We might need to, train somebody in another, that type of stuff. Nathan Minute said, Mallory, engagement with your audience. Well said. Let's see. Shane said, I'm okay with the idea of behavior-based safety programs, but not when everything stops at the employees. Sometimes decisions are made by employees because they get tired of reporting stuff, and managers never do anything about them. Okay, I like the fact that comes in, and that you're okay with behavioral based safety, because, again, and that's a whole nother conversation, the BBS versus HOP versus, safety differently, safety better. Again, what are we doing it for? Why do we do what we do? Because we are very passionate about life. We are very passionate about saving lives. Like Nathan Bennett, shout out Nathan Bennett and his messages. At the end, it's very cut, dry, simple, but it has a lot of meaning behind it, a lot of heart, a lot of compassion and empathy behind it. Just save lives. That's what we have to do. But to what you're saying, Shane, that you're okay with the behavioral based safety, and again, behavioral based safety, it works when it's done correctly, when it's done right. But not, like you said, not when everything stops at the employee. You can't always blame the employee, because, again, shit happens all the time. And malfunctions happen on lines. Machines fail out in the field, in the construction field, right? Those things aren't planned. We don't plan for somebody to, get hurt, or, we don't plan for an accident. That's why it's called an accident. Nobody plans for it. Said Pedro, some of the worst words that have ever escaped my lips were, we are supposed to do it like this, but X is messed up, so we do it this way. I'm talking about while I was a worker as a safety professional in general industry setting, my first mission is a personal hazard assessment. As I'm walking through the floor, I try to ask workers about things they face that they have reported, but nothing ever comes from it. And again, a personal hazard assessment. Now, and explain that a little more, Shane, if you could. Are you looking at a person doing a certain task to see if, there might be a potential hazard or a potential step they miss? Or are you looking at the 10,000 foot view of the person, the machine, and seeing where the hazards are coming from? I would like to know that. Thank you for that, though. That's awesome right there. What about workplace violence? Personalities sometimes clash. Tension can flare. Sometimes we blame coworkers for safety mishaps. Regardless of human error, what helps change that tone to diffuse the tension? And that's a good one, too. That's, diving into there, into the workplace violence. And we try to de-escalate the situation as much as possible. Whenever somebody, we got a caller. Hey, what's going on, Shane? Hold on, I'm connecting my Bluetooth to my board and
a little bit more of that comment that I made.
Yes, sir.
About doing the personal hazard assessment.
Yes, sir.
What I meant by that is when you show up on a new job site, you kind of have to walk around and see what you just gotten yourself into.
Right.
Me personally, I don't really care whether it's a refinery or a car plant, or doesn't make me any difference whether we're making straw hats or tennis shoes or whatever we're making in there. I just want to walk around and see what we're doing in the place. But, I take my knowledge as a worker, and that's when I start looking at what's really going on, more detailed, I guess, the mechanical side of stuff and what's going to get somebody hurt.
Right.
And then as I'm walking around talking to workers, I ask them, kind of get an idea of what they're doing in their little job stations and stuff like that. We can figure out what kind of hazards are there. And this is the stuff you put, you either carry a notepad with you or whatever you got to do. And then later on, when I have an opportunity to sit down in a manager's meeting, I can address all these things and say, all right, fellas, what are we going to do about this? And especially when you have, however many people I've counted say, well, we've told them about this and we told them about that, and they don't want to fix it. And so now we do things this way.
Got you.
It's kind of, both of those comments were meant to be together, I guess. I'm just trying not to Make
Try
it
to
fun.
get no. It's good. It's good that the fact that you do that, and I'm glad that you called up to kind of elaborate to let everybody understand and see what side you were coming from with that. And again,
Right.
that's great, and I greatly appreciate it, brother.
Right on.
Alrighty,
All right,
bye
sir.
bye.
Bye bye.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Didn't know that we can call in. Oh yeah, we have that around here. We have those types of things. So let me if you guys want to call in, by all means, call in. I love it. I love when somebody calls in. But no, again, going out to the to that job assessment, that hazard assessment, that personal assessment, and again, annotating those things in like you said, a notebook, the type of stuff that you end up seeing out there, and bringing it back to the C-suite, bringing it back to the executive team, the upper management, and you'll be able to say, "Hey, this is what I'm seeing out there, and I'm not only seeing it in one location. I'm seeing it in many locations. I'm seeing individuals commit the same, hazardous act in a sense. What can we do? Do we need to train more? Do we need to hold a training session for all the department heads and then all the mid-level supervisors? Do we have to have a big safety stand down? Even if it is and it counts, a couple of hours, but you get that training for everybody. Stagger it, again. And I'm looking at it from both sides because I've been on the other side, the C-suite, the business side. You don't want to shut down your entire plant for a whole day. But if you think about this, if you shut it down for one whole day, okay, so you might lose a couple $100,000, right? Multiply that by as many heads as you have, your workforce, right? And then over that entire year, you end up with 0 injuries in just a hypothetical situation, correct? At the end of that year, you don't have any injuries because you took that one day to train your entire workforce from the top down. Guess what? Now you're making money. Now you're in the green. Okay. And you stay in the green when you are able to commit to that. You are able to commit to, like Mr. Nathan said, just save lives. I love it. Mallory, how do you incorporate a training timeline that stays ahead of hazards instead of correcting and informing after an incident? And again, being on the floor, being out on site really helps. Again, you cannot predict everything, but you try to stay ahead of that. And again, your leading and lagging indicators, sometimes help you, sometimes work. But it's really getting the feedback from the workforce, in the toolbox talks that you end up having in the morning time with the workforce, and then having another toolbox talk with the managers. Hey, this is what I've been seeing over, the course of a couple of days. I need all the mid-level managers to say that they commit to trying to figure out why we're having this issue or this unsafe act or this unsafe condition to reoccur. And that way we can, be a little more proactive in our approach and be able to not get somebody hurt. And then instead of correcting after the fact. And like Shane said, yes, Mallory, proactive rather than reactive. Brittany Linhart, is safety and QA under the same umbrella? A lot of the times it is. Depends on the industry that you're in. I know that sometimes, like in a steel fabrication shop, the safety is apart from QA because QA has a lot of stuff that they deal with. But I know that in the construction side of things, you actually have HSEQ, so you're part of that quality, and it's overall quality assurance for not only the safety program, but how you're receiving materials, how the site is looking, the betterment of everything. That was a great question. Thank you, Brittany. Great point, sir. Get familiar. Steve Bill says, I utilize emails for that. It makes it a legal document. Amen. I like that. And we'll get into that, going down that paper trail. And I know we are talking about, having and making your safety plan, development of a safety plan better. But all of this stuff plays into it, believe it or not. Once you do that, again, management is forced to take action. And again, you're not doing it with malice or malintent. You don't, okay, I'm going to have a paper trail in case they come back. I have something to, hit them with. No, you do the paper trail so that way you can document your efforts. And again, you bring it up to somebody verbally, but you also follow it up with an email, kind of bullet list of what you're seeing, bullet list of, how things are going, what you're seeing out there. So that way they're involved, they understand. And again, it has to be from the management standpoint as well, to listen to your safety professional, listen to your workforce, listen to your mid-level managers. If they need something, be that support system. Because at the end of the day, when all your workforce goes home safe and sound the way they came in, 0 injuries, right? Nobody got hurt. No machinery was damaged. Guess what? They're helping your bottom line. But you have to invest. And again, it's not a cost. Your employees are not a cost. Man, that shit's going to cost me $100,000 because he got hurt. No, you are investing your blood, sweat, and tears into the company, right? To make it better. So if you invest and get that return on investment from your workforce by them being able to engage you, them being able to bring up their problems and know that they're going to get the support from you and know that they're going to get the backing from the very person that hired them, which is a CEO. Because again, it's not the HR director that hires you. It's not, the general manager. The CEO is hiring you. Okay. And this is the way I look at it. So when I go, to a new company, the CEO is the one that's hiring me. And I'm not even just talking about safety professionals, right? Because that has to be a direct line from safety professionals straight up to the top. If you are in a position where you have a whole bunch of layers, different people to report to, and you can't go directly to the CEO, I'm sorry, but that company needs a new infrastructure change. They need to know that certain people need direct lines to the CEO because sometimes they're not getting all the information. They're given one-sided stories, one-sided details, and they're not getting the full picture. And then they come back and say, well, hey, why did I hire you? Or what are you doing? And again, that's that one-sided. So be very wary of that. Safety and security are profit drivers. My man, Philip. What's going on, Philip? Good to see you, brother. Training time is probably the hardest sell we have as safety professionals. It is. And there was a company that I know a couple people that worked there. But what they would end up doing is, every quarter they would actually set out one day to get their training done in that quarter. Again, all your compliance training that you have to have. And they kept a running tab. They kept a running, I don't know what they were using as far as tracking, some type of software, but they were tracking whoever was coming up for first aid CPR training, whoever was coming up for forklift training, aerial lift training, all that stuff. They were taking a timeout. And again, one day out of the quarter, it could have, been January, could have been March. And it differed from year to year, but you have to be able to give, again, the C-suite and the CEOs a reasonable time to be able to, conduct this training. And again, some of those trainings take, an hour, 2 hours. Some of them take, 4 or 5. So it depends on what you're training. But yes, training time is definitely, one of the ones, a harder sell to your C-suite. But if they understand what the training is for, why we are giving the training, then they would be that more apt to say, hey, go ahead and do it. Get it done. Let's protect our people. Mallory said, one of the most important things we can do when we recognize a problem is to offer a solution. That can mean noticing that a piece of equipment is broken, looking up the part, and offering where and how it can be purchased or repaired. Who have you found the best person is to approach with that information? And I'm going to leave that up there because there's a lot of portions to that right there. If you notice something that is possibly broken, again, offering a solution. Don't just bring me the problem. Bring me the solution. Let me know how can we resolve it. And again, us as safety professionals, a lot of times you don't want to go to your workforce and say, hey, this is the problem. No, they don't want to hear that. They already know they have a problem. They want to hear, hey, here's the solution. So looking up a part and offering that, how it can be purchased, where we can get it from. I usually work with a purchasing agent, whoever the person that's in charge of purchasing things. If you're, one of the directors or, safety managers that has that ability, go ahead and order the part, put in the rec, if it has to go through a requisition series that ends up, going from purchasing to the general manager to, to corporate back down to get approved, then, work with those individuals. But I go straight to, if I can get it for you, let me get it. Right. And usually, 9 times out of 10, I have that capability. Depending on the dollar amount, I can't go buy, a $5,000 piece of equipment. I can go try to sell and see how we can get that piece of equipment if we really need it. But again, it boils down to, your rapport and the interaction you have with the people that are going to give you that support. Steve Bell said, that's right. Let's see. Safety Sam said, good point, Mallory. If we don't have a solution, how are we really helping? My man, good to see you, Safety Sam. What's going on, brother? Nathan Bennett said, I shut down 4 finishing lines on Saturday because a supervisor called me with the hazard that was found. Each line produces 200K material per shift. 5 hours, the team handled the issue and production restarted. Nobody got pissed. And see, and I remember that, post that you had, Nate, that, talked about that. And it was on a weekend. But again, you have that culture and that rapport with your people to say, hey, we're going to shut these lines down because we encountered something, and here is our solution. Bam, they got it done. They knocked it out. They took away the hazard, started production back up, and nobody got pissed off. That is what we are in the business for. That's why, when you love what you do and you do what you love, you can impact so many lives being a safety professional. Even those that aren't safety professionals, just think, if you are able to not only bring up a problem, but start thinking about a solution while you're bringing up said problem, guess what happens? You come that much more prepared. You then start brainstorming and figuring it out, and then y'all work together to get something done. Steve Bell said, management likes when training is done in the area and with little downtime. That is good. That is a good sell for training. The people also liked it. And again, yes, Steve, I greatly appreciate that because, again, some trainings you can actually get done in the work area, right? If we're doing forklift training, why not do the practical portion of it right then and there, right? Why not set up your, if you have the capability of doing it, set up your, your PowerPoint or however you are, and not PowerPoint, set up your training, whatever video, whatever engagement activities you might end up having to train with, and then go to your practical, but do it out in the work area where they feel comfortable. Again, you bring them into the cafeteria, the lunchroom, into a break room, a boardroom. Guess what? They're going to start to fall asleep on you. They're not going to pay attention. They're going to be looking at their phones. But if they're comfortable in their work area, guess what? Now they're actually seeing, oh man, I didn't see that hazard before when I was driving the fork truck. But after he just got on it, now I see something. So then they start raising those questions and start, raising the hand and saying, hey, how can we fix that? Good point right there, Steve. I greatly appreciate it. Mallory said, Nathan Bennett, that's awesome. The time you saved was probably very influencing to move these things along. Sometimes that's all it takes to get the job done. And again, this is what we do this for. So all of this that's been said, that's been talked about, the engagement, the actual, understanding what risks are there. Is it a new, very, very new plan, or is it a revamp of an old plan? But in order for it to be effective, all these facets have to be in play. You have to have the engagement. You have to have the, the buy-in, the help of your executive suite, right? Your infrastructure in regards to who's going to execute what portion of the plan. Do you have a safety committee? Do you have somebody, is it your workforce? Is it, people from the office? And I like to bring in both sides, using the workforce as a safety committee, because again, they're going to tell you about stuff that's going on out in the field. But also having people from the office, so that way they can also see, get your purchasing agents involved, get some of your HR personnel involved in those safety committee, right? So that way they can go out to the shop floor. They can go out to the construction site from time to time and see exactly what the workforce is doing. And maybe, again, they're from the outside looking in. So they might be able to see something that you're not seeing, that your workforce is not seeing, and come up with a solution. Not just a problem, but actually come up with a solution. Sometimes we come across an employee that is in poor health, unrelated to the job. We see them as a future hazard. How do we approach those concerns without crossing the line? For example, someone overweight, constantly out of breath, sweating often, heart attack waiting to happen. They are good at their job, but you see the risk. Is there a way to voice your concerns? And taking that right there without going too far and crossing the line, it really depends. If you see somebody, again, people have lives outside of what we're doing, and they make personal choices outside of work that aren't the best for their health, right? I can attest to that portion right there because I was a smoker very heavily. I was smoking since I was 16 years old. And it caught up to me and it bit me in the ass and I had a heart attack. I thought I was invincible, but as I got a little older and kept smoking and doing certain stuff, it definitely, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Obviously I had a massive heart attack. It scared the heck out of my family, scared the heck out of me. But those type of problems that you might see out in the field, take them to HR, maybe let your supervisor know. But again, it's a thin line that we walk when that type of stuff happens. And you don't want to say that they're, and again, not to discredit what you're saying, Mallory, there, but a future hazard, you might not, they might not be a future hazard. They might, just make some life choices that would contribute to, not fully being able to move out of the way if something's moving, not being able to, reaction time, that type of stuff. But again, that is a life choice that they make. So to walk that fine line and not even approach them, just, say, hey, take it to HR. And Shane said, oh, HIPAA alert. just got to make sure that we walk that and inform the right people when we might notice something like that. And not saying that they're a future hazard, not saying that that person is going to get himself or herself hurt, but what happens if, due to their life choices that somebody makes, could we consider it being a contributing factor into how how they work, what they are doing? But again, like Sam said, take it to HR, take all the health stuff to HR, because then they'll get with, the people over at the insurance and our health assessments that we do every year. Just saying to make sure it has happened properly and no laws are accidentally broken, like HIPAA. Yes. And Mallory said, I can relate. I was 250 pounds. I lost 120 pounds. I personally recognize the risk. Wow, really? Okay. So again, it was, that right there. Again, you personally recognize the risk, and you made a choice to, lose, that weight because you recognized it. And again, talking to them, the individuals that you might see might struggle, just talking to them again, saying, hey, what's going on? How can I help you, be successful? How can I help you, do your job a little easier? Maybe encourage them to, start working out with you. If you're one of those that work out, hey, nonchalantly in a sense, I'm looking out for your health. I see that, you might be struggling a little bit. Hey, why don't we hit up the gym after work? And again, it could be a personal choice that they don't want to go to the gym. They just want to go home and veg out in front of the TV, have a couple beers. And again, it's that personal choice, that stuff that, that people do. But thank you for that, Mallory. That was definitely a good change, a subject. Safety Sound, what's up, Shane? Good evening, brother. So yeah, again, I greatly appreciate everybody that's in the chat, everybody that's been watching. Let's see who watching us on Facebook. Roberto Villarreal, Eladio de la Garza, Luis Antonio Valdez, Tony Taylor, my man. Good to see you, Tony. David Moon. Thank you guys for watching over on the other platform. I'll get a lot of interaction over here on the LinkedIn Live as well. But wherever you're tuning in, if those that are catching us on the radio, just tuning in, again, it is 45 past the hour, and I want to make sure that the ones that are listening to the radio, the ones that are live streaming, where you can find us at. We're streaming all over the place, safetyfm.com, safetyfm.live, the Safety FM app. We're live streaming here on all the, different areas, Facebook, LinkedIn Live, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. Yes, I said it, Twitch. So I greatly appreciate it. Again, good conversation. Thank you, Shane, for calling in. Mallory said, what is the best resource that you turn to when you don't know what to do? Coworker, website, friend. All of the above, depending on what you are looking for in regards to resource. Obviously, if it's something work related, find the person that's been doing it the longest. Ask them. They have a lot of experience. You ask them about, you ask your safety professionals. You ask your C-suite, friends. You look up websites. Again, OSHA.gov has a lot of stuff on there. There's other websites like the NAISC website that gives you a lot of material. It just all depends on what you're looking for. Steve Bell said, what do you feel about online safety systems? Online safety systems. Elaborate a little more there, Mr. Steve. Like like actual online safety systems, like on the computer. I also utilize and seek out safety people I trust. Yes, definitely. Online safety systems in regards to Steve, I have come to dislike online systems. At the end of the day, ask yourself who is going to go to court when things go bad. Okay, yeah, so we were talking about the same thing. Actual systems that are online. Now, if we're talking about maybe like a service, software as a service, it depends on what it's being used for. If it is it to compile and get rid of all your paperwork, so that way all of the stuff is compiled correctly on the cloud. And if I have multiple sites, I know I can go from point A to point B and still be able to get that stuff. Learning platforms, it all depends. It all depends on how the learning is being done. Is it very dry and the old school monotone, this is how we're going to change the light bulb type stuff? Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Now, if you are talking about a new and engaging platform that's out there that has different types of learning, actual maybe interaction, then yes, you have to get the people engaged. You can't throw up a PowerPoint and say, here, watch this PowerPoint and call them trained. You actually have to get them engaged. There has to be some kind of hands-on. There has to be some kind of interaction coming from an actual person. Now, granted, I can do a video and kind of do like a little mini series on all these different training topics, and I can be talking to you and, ask the questions, and then something pops up on the screen and, that type of interaction. But I prefer, if I'm doing training, I need to see your reaction. I need to see when I ask the question, what do you start thinking about? What are your mannerisms? How are you looking? Get you a little out of that comfort zone. So that way, when you're out in the field, guess what? You can figure out, oh man, I remember Pedro asking me that training question. I see that now. So let's, go ahead and correct that. LMS is a company quick fix, easy way out. Let's face it. There are a lot of sucky trainers out there. And again, yes, Steve Bell, they disengage people. They do. Because again, it's ease of use minus the interaction. Shane, how do you connect with other safety pros, clubs, groups, forums? I love this. I love the chats and the talks and how engaged you guys are. Safety Sam says, starting with your local ASSE chapter used to be a great way to connect with other safety pros. I don't go anymore, LOL. So I don't know if it is still the case. LinkedIn is a great place to network with safety pros you feel it would benefit, to chat with. And again, you're able to reach out on LinkedIn, reach out on even on social media, on some of the, Instagram, Facebook. There's groups that are out there. Reach out if you need a resource. I know a lot of people that are out there. If I can't find it for you, I probably know a couple of people that could get you and lead you in the right direction. Shane said, "Is our job as trainers to engage the learners?" That is correct. And Steve says he agrees. How many people create a hazard to create a learning opportunity? Anyone show what happens when something breaks in front of an audience? Yes, that is real. And again, it's controlled. You recreate, and reenact, some of those incidents and some of those things. So that way your new hires, right? I know working in a steel fabrication facility, you would actually go out and train them on how to use the overhead cranes. So you would actually have a small piece of steel. You would end up, getting the hook fouled and lifting a piece of material, and them actually knowing that it's about to drop, and them, kind of jump back when it does. They see that. It has to be that hands-on. In my eyes, it has to be the hands-on. But yes, you kind of reenact that. Same thing with with fires. If you can have a reenactment of a fire that you can possibly have out in the field, out in the facility, reenact it, and that way they know how to use a fire extinguisher. They know to point it at the base of the fire. There's also gadgets that were out there. I know the what is it the bullfire or something like that. It's like it's electronic. You can have it in the classroom, but it's still laser activated and kind of simulate. It's a simulator for fires that you do with training. Sam, if you would have sat through the ASSP meeting I was in the other day, he would have laughed. Hey, again, these are all great questions. This is awesome. I love it. LinkedIn, best way as you can study your mentor. Yes, that is true. Anybody that you meet on LinkedIn, anybody that you connect with, anything that you might be, engaging with on LinkedIn, just reach out. LinkedIn is a big platform. There are millions and millions of users on LinkedIn, as well as there is on, Facebook and Twitter and everything else. But again, if you're looking for a mentor, you're looking for somebody to reach out to, you're looking for somebody to, give you some guidance, by all means, LinkedIn would be one of those ways to go. Very professional. Lots of groups and people that are out there willing to give that free 99 knowledge and give you guys some insight on whatever you're going through, whatever you need. Safety Sam said LOL at Shane. And again, diving around, jumping around to, the training aspect of it. Said safety plan has to be trained on. We got to figure out, who's going to give what, where, when, why, and how. So got to be a good trainer to be able to engage your workforce. So with that being said, I thank everybody for tuning in. It's been great. 7:55. We're fixing to get out of here. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful evening. Stay tuned tomorrow because tomorrow is going to be our big event. All right, hold on. Here we go. Here's a call-in number there. Safety Sam. He said he wants to call in. But he had too much to type. You can call up. You can call my phone. You got my phone number. You can call me. We love this over here. So, those of you that are tuning in on the radio station, hey, guess what? We greatly love and appreciate you. Ask yourself that one question. What is your X factor? Until next time, we'll see you later. Go ahead. You're on the air.
What's up? Real quick. Hey. Hey, guess what? We greatly love and appreciate you. Ask yourself.
Yeah, don't look at the live stream. That you're gonna confuse yourself. Because it's yeah. It's
that's what messed me up.
Yeah, put that on mute.
Okay, I just did. My bad. I was like, where's that coming from? But no, I was gonna say real quick. We were on there and we was talking about reaching out, to safety pros and all that good stuff on here. And I was gonna say, just a free thing of advice is if you want to reach out to someone on there, connect with them, especially if you're looking to mentor or ask questions or need help from them. Engage with them first. And I'm telling you that from being on the other end. Not just so it sounds shitty, but to be honest with you, I'll tell you, I get people that contact me they want advice on how to write a book, how to pass the CSP, how to pass the ASP. What else are they asking me now? How to start their own consulting company. And I'm going to be honest with you. These are people I've been connected with for like 3 or 4 years, have never said a word to me, hadn't liked the post, hadn't shared the post. And I don't care about that, but I'm just telling you, So when somebody reach out to me and ask, I go to their page and see what their activity are. If there's somebody who don't do a lot on LinkedIn and they're asking me a question, I jump on it and I ask to help. But if I go on there and I see they've been on LinkedIn and every other safety pro on here, they're liking the stuff, engaging and commenting and stuff like that, and they ain't said nothing to me, I ignore them. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. So, I mean, it is, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Like, I'll be honest, like, my clientele is not on LinkedIn, so I'm not posting for likes, shares, and money. But if you're going to go on here and engage with everybody else and then come secretly ask me how to write a book, or I literally had a dude contact me who I had, he reached out to me a year ago. I introduced myself. He didn't even respond. He failed the ASP 2 months ago, and I'm just putting it out there. If he on here, he can contact me. He failed the ASP and then contacted me and was like, man, I failed the ASP. I don't know what to do. Any study tips? And I hit him back with one word and said, interesting. Period. That's all I said. And then he came back and said, that doesn't sound like a mentor type response. And I didn't respond to him because, for one, I mentor kids. You're a grown ass man. So I'm putting that out there because some people probably on here that reached out to me, and this is not a shot. I'm being honest with you and giving you my blueprint. I go look at every one of their page, and if you didn't engage with 30 state professionals, 5 of them consultants, and this and that, and you want to secretly ask me for help, go talk to the ones you engage with. Or if you want that person and you see something in them that they could mentor you, engage with them. Let it go back and forth. But don't just show up with your hands open. I'm just being honest with you because that's where we are with this right now.
Damn,
so anyway,
Sam.
that's my tip. I just wanted to get that out there.
Damn, had to put that person on blast like that, brother. Man, but again, I get where you're coming from. And again, if you're not engaging with what I'm doing, and again, it's not really, we're not looking for the views and the engagement. But again, if you see this person engaging with everybody else, and then a year later they want to come and say, hey, can you help me, reach my next stepping stone? Again, it's not only when it's beneficial for you. You gotta give, and then take.
Well, that's part of the relationship. If we're talking, I'm giving you advice, I'm a mentor you to this, then we kind of connect. You see what I'm saying? So we haven't even established how we connect. I don't mentor everybody just because they act. There has to be a connection there. So I'm saying, and I'm not saying me. I'm saying other safety professionals are the same way. Yeah. I had a safety mentor, and he didn't mentor everybody. He turned quite a few away. So I'm being honest in that. You got to have that opportunity to see how we connect, how we mesh, to see if it benefits both of us. So, man, I just, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to put that out there because it's out there and it's not about likes. For me, it's not about likes. For one, my clientele, I'll tell you, they're 64 and over. Most of them are not on there weekly. They're rarely on there, and I'm not reaching them through LinkedIn. So I'm not on here for the likes and to grow my business. That's why I can post what I want. That's why I can post boxing. I can post my family. I can post business when I want to. Yeah. But you don't see me selling nothing on there when I post. Because my clientele isn't there. So it's not about that. I'm telling you, I'm not trying to be internet famous. I'm retiring from safety in 3 years. I'm just letting people know, hey, if you hit somebody up, you know what I mean? Make sure you've done your part first. Because that's just the other side of it.
Appreciate it, Safety Sam. Thank you for calling in and us getting that live view of you. And tell me how you really feel. Have a good one, brother. Bye-bye.
You too. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Stephen Bell said, badass. Yes, it is. We like that stuff around here. Great stuff. Great chat. What's the best safety conference to attend annually? Inquiring minds want to know, Mallory. Inquiring minds want to know what's the best safety conference to attend annually, because there's so damn many. Good question. Tune in to Safety Struggle next week. The argument is big safety and the financial struggle behind memberships and conferences. Go where you think you belong. Again, trying to get through all these comments because we like reading the comments. That is true, Safety Sam. That's very true. Mentors are like AA sponsors sometimes. That's a good one, Shane. I like that. We are in the spot, faking it to make it. Not really. I hear you. Again, Sam retiring from safety. What? Yeah. So with that being said, again, it's 8:02. I greatly appreciate all you guys and gals taking the time out to chill here with us, chat, get in on the phone calls, get in on the interaction. I hope we answered some questions and brought you a little bit of value today. I greatly appreciate it. Tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow's our big event where we're going to be shaking up the game with Tony Taylor. I got George Nelson. I got Brandon Barlow. And I got Reggie Waterman. It's gonna be 5 of us on here. I don't know how I might end up breaking the internet, and it might just be my hotel internet, but we might be breaking the internet tomorrow. So tune into that. Same time, we're gonna go live at 7:00 Central Standard Time. So, greatly appreciate it. Ask yourself that one question: what is your X factor? Until next time, we'll see you later.